Welcome to the Fasting Podcast, Wow, Wellness and Optimal Weight. I'm your host, Julie Phillips, certified natural health professional for 2 decades after a life-threatening scare. This is episode 66, Preserve Your Muscle During Fasting. When the body is desperate for fuel, the body's actually capable of breaking down muscle into amino acids to create glucose for the brain and other critical functions. That's called gluconeogenesis, the creation of new good sugar. And monks that have gone a long time without eating anything actually could be sacrificing muscle mass in order to fuel the brain. An extended or prolonged fast is capable of helping the body create more human growth hormone, HGH. It's the youthfulness hormone that helps signal the body preserve muscle and bone. When people do an extended or prolonged fast, sometimes they do lose some muscle mass regardless of HGH production. However, the muscle that gets lost is more likely to be wasted old muscle, and after the extended or prolonged fast is over, they might be much more likely to gain new healthy muscle mass when they get back to the normal routine. Short-term fast of 48 to 72 hours, we actually did an episode on that, are also capable of doing the same with the human growth hormone, so that can happen quickly. Intermittent fasting, also called time-restricted eating, has a period of not eating any caloric food, and often people do it with a span of 16 hours when they're eating their caloric food in an 8-hour window, all the way up to typically 20 hours of fasting, when the other 4 hours might be used for consuming caloric food, perhaps in 2 separate meals. These are risking the body of using muscle mass to break it down for energy for the body. And those people that like to fast in between that range of 24 to 48, those may also increase the risk of sacrificing muscle. After the body depletes, first, the consumed food and drink that we're putting into our body for fuel, after that is broken down, secondly, it goes into the glycogen stores, which is the stored excess carbs and sugar for emergency stored in the muscle and liver. Then it can simultaneously break down muscle or protein and fat. So it is important to preserve your muscle with digestible, assimilable protein. Some people are consuming protein and not doing a very good job of digesting it. And those people sometimes have the condition called heartburn or reflux. And they might take a certain type of pill to prevent all hydrochloric acid. And then, as a wellness coach, I'm pretty confident they're not getting a good grade on breaking down protein, bursting the protein with the proper level of the pH, and opening the valve and moving things forward. So really, the heartburn people are especially at risk. And we did a whole separate episode on heartburn. Experts on the fasting mimicking approach, and we did do a previous episode on that, they promote that plant-based whole food protein is what they use in their program, and they estimate the following protein that's needed for a person. They say 0.31 to 0.37 grams of protein per pound. To give you an example of that, 0.31 to 0.37 is a 0.06 span, so half of that is 0.03. And if you add that to the bottom number, 0.31 and 0.03 is 0.34. What would that number be if we use the average of the range that they target? For a person targeting 180 pounds, that might be 61 grams of protein. And the extra amount that's allocated for those that are working out in that approach is 30 to 35 grams more. And they say that the elderly typically need 10 to 20% more, and it's often the elderly that are not really utilizing their protein very well. So we're talking for that approach, they say roughly 0.34 on average, and 30 extra grams or 35 if you're working out. Elderly, 10 to 20% more than the 0.31 to 0.37. Now, I was the pioneer that piloted the protein diet in the United States probably close to 20 years ago, and those experts estimated an amount of 0.5 grams, so a half a gram per pound of target weight. So even if you were overweight and a man wanted to come down from 250 pounds to 180 pounds, it would be the target weight they would use this formula on. So 180 pounds, 0.5 would be approximately 90 grams of protein per day. Now, if you think about the fasting mimicking estimates, their number would have come out to 61 grams, but extra 30 or so for the workout. So that's right there exactly almost 90 grams per day for a person doing the protein diet, which kind of matches up to a person that is doing the first format workout along with the target of 0.34 grams per pound. They both come out to around 90 grams of protein. We actually, on the protein diet, had people gain pounds of muscle mass rather quickly without working out because of the plant-based protein. Highly digestible, highly absorbable, and this now can go right in and even help the digestive challenged. So during a fast, consider keeping a log of how much protein is consumed per day if you're doing intermittent fasting or a short-term fast or otherwise, and count your meat as perhaps 40 to 60% absorbable, and the plant-based protein isolate. My favorite includes pea protein plus cranberry protein and a few others. You can count that as over 95% absorbable. So you want to secure muscle mass during any type of fasting, intermittent fasting or otherwise. And it's a really good idea that if you've chosen an approach for yourself and you've chosen an eating plan for yourself, such as some people like to do pure vegan with no animal products whatsoever, if you think you're getting enough, it's very valuable to check it out and see for sure what's happening with your muscle. Now, there is a machine called a bioelectric impedance analysis, BIA machine, that measures pounds of muscle and pounds of fat, amongst other things. But if you can actually measure how many pounds of muscle and how many pounds of fat, that's ultra valuable. The BIA machines that measure pounds are often close to $2,000, sometimes more, and typically the integrative doctors have those machines, and you could go to one of them and they would put you on the machine for a charge and tell you, okay, you started at this many pounds of muscle and fat, and now you've done a program for 30, 60, or 90 days, for example, and now your body fat pounds went down and your muscle went up. When you are using the plant-based protein, you now could literally gain pounds without having to work out, although working out is outstanding. If you would like to locate where is a practitioner that does that, one of the more commonly known BIA companies is called RJL Systems. If you go on their website to contact, there's one that says BIA Locator. It has a map of different places, and you can put your city, for example, Tampa, Florida, up in the top and say, find me a BIA practitioner within 100 miles or 50 miles of where I'm at. And then click the search bar and it'll show you where each one is and what they are. If you are not wanting to do that, some universities actually have an immersion machine where you can immerse in water and it will also tell you your numbers of pounds of fat and muscle. We had someone do that during the protein diet, and they said that the BIA machines were right on track with that other method of measuring. For the everyday person who doesn't want to have to find a practitioner and would at least benefit from knowing my body fat percent went down during my program and my skeletal muscle percent went up, or at least stayed the same, everyone practically can afford a body composition scale to watch the trend. So if you're doing a program for 30, 60, 90 days or more, you would want to get one of these because you can get one for about $25 on Amazon. There's a brand called RENPHO. I have a different brand also that costs a little more called Omron, OMRON. But besides skeletal muscle percent and body fat percent, you also would want to get the kind that has visceral fat clinging to vital organs. That's a very important measurement. For those of you that are watching on YouTube or want to get access to the slides, there's a little chart on this page that you can see that for females of each age group, here's what's normal for skeletal muscle percent. And it's ideal to even be high or very high on the muscle percent. So there's a separate chart right on this page for female and male. And I'm just going to read one set of numbers for those of you that are on iTunes. And that way you can get a feel for this. So females for age 40 to 59, the normal range for skeletal muscle percent is 24.1 to 30.1. Ideally, you want to at least be in the top half of the normal range, or nice to be higher. Males in the 40 to 59-year-old range are normal at 33.1 muscle percent to 39.1% muscle percent. You want to make sure you're in the lower part of the body fat range, but watch this percent as your fat decreases. Your muscle, whether you're trying to build muscle or not, we want to see the muscle percent go up if you're making changes, or at least, worst case, stay the same, but not go down. A lot of people are not consuming or digesting and assimilating enough protein, and their muscle percent can go down, down, down over time. That's not a good trend, so definitely keep an eye on it because that's very important to preserve your muscle during fasting. Now, there was a contest that we kicked off in last week's episode. We also explained it in the blog on our website that you could win a body composition scale that I would purchase for the 3 winners. So check that out. Review episodes, if you like, on protein, episode 9 and 10 and 65. And episode 28 had info on the body composition scale. Direct any questions or contest results, if you think you won the contest, to Julie at jpwowprograms.com. Refer others, please. Check out our website that has the slides for each episode. Our favorite WOW natural products like the WOW Drops and the WOW Digestive Gut Blend are phenomenal. And there's a blog each week with a new article and the new WOW Lifeboat Freedom video system for income from sharing the WOW natural products. The website, www.jpwowprograms.com. Remember, stay positive, focused, and determined, because where the mind goes, energy flows.